Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, this message, once again, is one that comes none other than the Holy Spirit. Teach your sons about evil women. Teach your sons about evil women. Right now, we are living in a period where men are being beaten across the movie screens by superhero-like women. We are seeing where women are stabbing men, doing all sorts of evil toward men in music videos. We are living in a time where women, as I've said in other audio, are very angry, very bitter, very jealous, very disturbed by what men have done to them, starting with their fathers, and then, of course, ending with those men who they consider lovers, husbands, boyfriends, best friends, what have you. They have been ruined. There has been those women who have gone through much and they have been ruined. They're not going to go to the church for prayer. They're not going to go seek out a psychologist. They are not going to talk about their fears, their worries, their concerns. Instead, they are suppressing much of what has gone on with them, but it tends to come out in so many wicked ways. She has issues. It's just that she doesn't want to deal with those issues. She has all sorts of problems with men, those that have hurt her, as well as those who haven't even bothered her in the least, but she just can't stand men. Okay? The parent, grandparents, guardian, mentor, spiritual counselor, whoever is responsible for someone is going to have to take up some time to have that conversation about the evil women that are out here. You see, some men, they don't mind having the conversation about how women look, how women have dogged them out. They don't mind having that conversation about spoiling a woman, giving to a woman, getting something from a woman. But when it comes down to the evil that lurks behind a woman's eyes, when it comes down to the things that the Lord inspires a man to say about these evil yet very beautiful women, and some who are not so beautiful but just plain old evil, these men, they'll talk about sports before they go deep about a conversation about evil women. I wrote the book She's Crazy, so that's a nice little conversation starter for any man or any woman who wants to teach his or her sons about evil women. We're going to go to the Bible because the Bible talks about one particular woman named Leah, who was described in one Bible as tender-eyed, and then in other Bibles, weak eyes. And so in Genesis 29:16 and 17, we read, "And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel." The Bible says in verse 17 that Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. Okay? Doesn't say Leah was beautiful. Doesn't say she was favored. It says she was tender-eyed. The Hebrew word for tender-eyed is rak. Tender, literally or figuratively, and by implication, weak. It's interesting that there is an app out there called Tinder, spelled Tinder. And then here I am speaking of tender being weak. Now, we know some people use all sorts of dating apps to meet individuals. And if you're not paying too close attention, you're not going to pay any mind to the weaknesses that are in people who will gravitate to all sorts of dating tools to find someone. Okay? All you're going to look at is the entertainment value of it. You're going to look at, well, it's convenient for you. You're going to look at maybe a little bit of some benefit We don't need to get into all the specifics, but we know some people, they're not walking right with the Lord, so they're looking at some benefits, okay? Let's just keep it real. Not everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so, you see, there's these things that are out here that draw people in to hide weaknesses. Tender, right? Her eyes were tender, which is an implication of weak, according to the Strong's Concordance. Now, when I took a look at tender-eyed in depth, I came across a website called www.libertygospeltracts.com/question/pre-request/Leah-eyes.htm. And the site says there was a definite weakness when it came to the look of Leah's eyes. They are contrasted with Rachel, who is described as looking beautiful. Sometimes people have an eye that is slightly crossed, or sometimes eyes that are big and bulging, etc. Whatever the case, her eyes were not attractive and are mentioned as a detriment to her looks. Men are often drawn to the eyes of a woman and are thus warned to beware. In Proverbs 6:24 through 26, it says, "To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids." Let me read that again for someone. "To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life." Evil women coming up with all sorts of strategies to take a man and use him, abuse him, and then look for another man. A man is drawn to a woman by her beauty. He's looking at her eyes, and if he sees something in her eyes that ignites a fire within him, he's going to pursue her. But everybody is not worth pursuing. Everybody who looks a certain way that makes you tingle inside is not the right one. Some men have learned the hard way. They have come across that damsel in distress, and then she ended up damning him to hell. They have come across that woman who was so beautiful on the outside, but was a snake on the inside. That woman who was greedy for money, but could care less about him. That one that says that she loves, but really she has no type of understanding nor feeling for love. Oh, a whorish woman. This is a woman who sleeps around. This is a woman who may have once slept around. All of her heartbreak, her upset, the abuse that she endured, she got something funny about her eyes. She can't look a man in his eyes for long before she's looking to the ground. She's got her eyes everywhere but on him. She's staring with dead eyes. When she takes pictures, there's a dead look about her eyes. When she's talking, she's got all sorts of things going on with her eyes. She doesn't seem to be focused. She seems to be stumbling over her words. She seems to be using all sorts of fillers to cover up some of the stupid things that comes out her mouth. She's a silly woman. She just can't seem to get her mind right long enough to have an intelligent conversation. Oh, some of you all, you've come across women like this, and this is why you need to teach your sons. Because remember now, if he marries her and the two of them populate the bloodline, and she got weak eyes, and she's got a history of having family members who are weak mentally, physically, and spiritually, you've got this new generation coming along in your family bloodline that just most likely will take after her. Leah's eyes, they were weak. Could have been slightly crossed. Could have been big eyes. Could have been bulging eyes. Could have had some type of injury to eyes during childbirth. We don't know the details. All we know is that she wasn't beautiful. She wasn't attractive. And I get into this story in an old audio about Laban and Rachel and just everything that took place with that particular story, which is sad. But I'm not going to get into this story. I want to zero in on the eyes. The Bible clearly tells us that we're not supposed to be looking for anyone based on beauty. A man should not be looking for a woman based on her beauty. But what he should be looking for is a woman who has godly character. Proverbs 31:30 says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Those of us who've been following the Lord for quite some time, we have learned to fear him. We've learned to fear him because we can see what God does when you get on the wrong side. And some of these women, the reason why they're so evil and they don't think that nothing can come upon them, they almost feel like they're invincible, watching a little too many superhero movies. They have no reverence, no fear of the one true God. They haven't gone through enough to even so much as speak about what God can do confidently, assuredly. They don't take time out to study. They don't go around like-minded individuals. They consider wisdom, intelligence, love, care, patience, nurturing, and all of that boring. These are women who like to get out and go wherever their feet trod, even if it is in murky waters. These are women that can be your friend today and be very hateful and wicked the next. You see, Jacob, he chose Rachel for her beauty. But the marriage wasn't one that was blessed. When I put together the audio about this, Jacob, he had been tricked. And he had been tricked by his uncle. Laban ended up putting Leah with the weak eyes out there for him to marry. He really wanted Rachel. There are men who, they see Rachel, right? She's beautiful. She's favored. Wouldn't mind having Rachel on their arm. Most likely Rachel's young too. You see? But then Leah shows up. And there's that man out there who I don't really feel Leah. But you know what? Leah just might be that one that's going to give you the children. You see, Rachel, she didn't give Jacob any children initially. It was Leah. Leah was in search of some love. Leah wanted this man to love her. And I touched on this in that audio as well. And you have these women that they're willing to jump through hoops to have a man. They know they don't look attractive. That's why they tend to eye roll deep side and have issue with the beautiful women. Oh, here she is showing up, one of them pretty ones, right? So they got to find some fault with the pretty woman. They got to look for some flaws because they want to be front and center. They want to be favored. Leah with the weak eyes. You got to recognize that God allows some of these things to take place with some of these women so that you know who you're dealing with. Sometimes, yes, the woman, she's not all that attractive, but she has a good heart. Absolutely. But then there's still that woman who she's not attractive inside or outside. And some men will just settle because they're lonely. Some men will settle because, well, she just happened to be the one that's in front of me and she keeps pursuing me. She keeps coming up with all sorts of ways to win me. So I guess I might as well settle. But that's not who God has called you to. Leah didn't have attractive eyes. Her looks were not anything that a man would be interested in. But the interesting thing about Leah was that she was more blessed, though, than the beautiful one. Oh, Jesus, that favored one. Favor, according to the website, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. And that was taken right out of Proverbs 31:30. Let me read that again. Favor is deceitful. And some people want that. I'm not very attractive. I don't look good. I want some favor. Some people wishing to look like some actress will even go to great lengths to look like somebody. And that man who comes along, and some of you all have been deceived, you look like so-and-so. Yeah, and then you end up getting involved with her because she looks like that actress. Or she has some ways that remind you of somebody worth a lot of money. But that favor is deceitful. It was manufactured. It was created. It was planned out. It was put under the knife. It was colored. It was decorated up in fancy outfits. Favor is deceitful. Beauty's vain. We all know we're going to get older. Are you still going to love me when I'm not looking so attractive? Are you still going to be able to look me in my face as the wrinkles start showing up, as the lines are all around my mouth? Some men, as soon as they see the signs that a woman is aging, that gray hair starts popping up, those lines start showing up, the darkness is up underneath the eyes. Sooner or later, she got to take the makeup off and he sees what he really got himself involved with. They're ready to go. I'm not attracted to her anymore. Well, what's wrong with her? That's why you get some of these older men who end up going along with the younger women because they're so carnally minded. But that woman is blessing you. She may not look as beautiful as she did 20-some, 30-some years ago, but she's blessing you. She's blessing you because she's there for you. She's blessing you because she is praying for you. She's blessing you because when nobody else is there, she's right there by the bedside. She's blessing you because she's encouraging you. And the man says, yeah, but I don't know, though, the way she looks. Some things can be fixed, right? Somebody can simply lose the weight. You know, it may not be too simple for them, but that is something that they can do, right? But then there's some things that's not in our power. I remember a woman said that she had acid thrown on her by a man who abused her. Good heart, beautiful on the inside. But there's areas of her body that she keeps covered because they were severely burned. Okay? It doesn't make her less beautiful, right? But for some men who are into the way somebody looks, that bothers them. I can't look at no burned skin. You can turn the lights off. I don't want to feel it. You see? So then that's a woman you don't need to be with. I know that for some people, they are so enamored with beauty, but you also got to understand that we serve a righteous God, a loving God, but also a God that'll put a curse upon you, that'll put judgment upon you when you are involved with somebody who's evil. And you know full well they're evil. The mother warned you. The son warned you. Somebody at the job warned you. Your best friend warned you. You don't want to mess with her. She got a crazy side. She will cut you up. She will spit you out. She'll do bad things to you. But I love her. I want her. You sure? You know that that's not a woman that's going to lead you toward God. She's going to lead you right to the bar or a bar fight. She might lead you to the bank and drain your bank account. I don't know about that. But I want her. You just want her because she's so pretty. Yep. But you know she's going to get older. And if you get her, if you get her pregnant, she's going to gain some weight. And if she looks like her mom, Her body might not snap back. You see. Why don't you go after the woman that's a godly woman, a woman that is blessed, a woman that knows what love is all about? Why you gotta go after the one that's hard to get? Why you gotta go after the one that's evil? Why you gotta go after the ride or die type of wilding out type of chick? You see, we ask these questions of our friends, family members, and so forth because we want them to be happy. We want them to choose wisely. And we don't want the drama in our family. At the end of the day, I don't want to see trouble during the family holiday events. I don't want to have to hear that a relative is going through hell and back because of this woman. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord. Does she fear the Lord? Does she even talk about the Lord? Does she invite you to the church? Do you attend the church on a regular basis? Is she a part of the Bible study? Is she gifted in some kind of way, right? Has God blessed her with something where she's not relying on you for everything? A woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Teach your sons to watch their backs concerning these beautiful Barbie doll looking women. Teach your sons to still be men. Yes, women are fighting for their rights, but you got to teach your sons to still be men. You ask the Lord to lead you in that teaching. We're not talking about being the old school type of men who were sexist and racist and pathological liars. We're talking about the new school men who are in touch with both their feminine as well as their masculine sides. They love, they care, they nurture, they assist, they serve, like Jesus, right? Read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, like Jesus. Thinking about the good of man, wanting man to be better. That's what a good man does. He looks beyond himself. A bad man, he's looking out for himself, and of course eventually he attracts a bad woman. You know how they say some of these women out here are bad you know what's? Oh yeah, you got a bad you know what, a bad attitude, a bad body that eventually breaks down because of the types of stuff that she's putting inside it to make it look that way, the type of stuff that she's wrapping around it to make it look that way. Eventually she takes her clothes off and you find out there's a whole lot of stuff that she was doing to trick men into thinking that she was born a bad you know what. And we know that people do all sorts of things to enhance themselves. They paint their faces. They upgrade their bodies. They do a lot. And there's nothing wrong with enhancing yourself. But when you're sitting up there and you're telling lies about the enhancements, or you trying to get somebody to pay for your enhancements, and you're doing all sorts of deceitful little things to get some enhancements. I mean, come on, now we got problems. But everybody has a right to make themselves look better, right? We're not discouraging that. I'm the first one that'll say I'm not getting on any type of video or taking any pictures looking any kind of way. I'm from the old school. I think that it is an added benefit to put some decor on that face. I don't think that it's anything that is going to send you on a path straight to hell. And so you don't want to be that guy or be a part of the group that is demeaning people because they want to do something, to enhance themselves a bit. But if people are doing it for all the wrong reasons and they are just coming up with all sorts of plans to hurt someone through the process, I'm sure God is not going to bless that person. If anything, they're going to experience his curse for being so deceitful, for being so ugly, for manipulating, for hurting, for abusing. So pray for your sons and ask the Lord to protect them from all harm and danger. Pray that your sons will have a discerning spirit about them, that they will see the deceitful, the ugly, and that they will not be the type of individuals that will pity folk and try to save people and pretty much get themselves caught up in a snare, because that's how that whole process happens. That one with the weak ass shows up with a weak story, and the man thinks he can save her, and then before long he's pulled into a lot of destruction. So blessings to you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. You've been listening to YouTube Enterprise 7. Feel free to give. We do have various ways of giving. To God be the glory.